Greetings to your friends and listeners. Here's hoping that you've trained and really enjoyed the process up to this point, and that you've been satisfied with the contents that we've provided you with. We've really tried to present you with situations and contents that will help you in the real world, and they're not just theoretical. So that's why we've decided to devote all of this section to the dynamo. But just know that we're not going to start a dynamo from zero, but rather we're just going to cover examples and situations that come in handy. We will only cover topics that would be useful in your actual projects. And from in between the points that we discuss, you can learn many new tools and topics and just discover how important and useful the dynamo can actually be. But it is absolutely necessary for you to cover the dynamo and its fundamental techniques yourself, and make sure to learn the basics in between your training sessions. And for the training, we have a lot of courses ourselves that cover the basic, the intermediate, and advanced techniques of the dynamo, in MEP and structure, and whatever you want. Now you can either use those or you can use other sites and trainers that you prefer, because, well, as they say, the world of learning is never complete, and everyone should try to gain as much knowledge as they can from all different sources, and that's completely natural. So we start from some simple examples, and then we'll progress and try to keep it as categorized as possible. And in this part particularly, we'll talk about documentation. For example, I want to create a draft here that's in a table format. So I'll go over to the Manage tab, right click on Dynamo and hit Add. Then right click on the Dynamo player and hit the Add there as well, so that we won't have to switch again. Then go over to the Customize window, select the Switch Windows, and then press Add Separate to create another line here and hit OK. Now we just have a gap up here in the menu, which was unnecessary. I just wanted to keep it as categorized as possible. After that, I'll click on this to open up the dynamo. After the dynamo has opened up, you can create a new file here. But before I do that, let me just save this first. So press Save As and then go over here in the folder 07 Dynamo for BIM model. And I'll just save the file right here, naming it a 01 create drafting view. Alright, then press save. Alright, so now I want to create some table-like drafts here, and I can do that using Dynamo itself. So I'll right click here and look for points, then open that up, create a copy of it, then let me see, open up a slider here. Alright, put it over here to the left, and then let's see, I can connect it to the Y in the point by coordinates, and for the number of the slider itself, I can just put in 5. Or you know what, we can do something else as well, connect it to the one down here, so that we have the distance here in the model. Alright, then I'll create a code block here, and in it, I'll put in from 0 to, let's say, hashtag number 1, then double dots again, and then N2. So when we put the hashtag, it means amounts and numbers, and then when we exclude it, it means distance. Alright, so then copy number slider once again, then connect that to the distance in the code block, and then put in 1 here. After that, I'll look for integer, and then open up the integer slider. Then put in 8 and connect that to the number. Then from the other side of the code block, I'll connect it to the Y in the point by coordinates. Now this is what it turns out like. Now we can easily change the distance between these using the number slider here, and we can also put some conditions on it, for example saying the minimum distance should be 0.5 and the maximum 2, and each step can be 0.1. Now this way we have more control over the number slider and the distance between these. And for the number itself, We can go over to the integer slider, for example, put in 5 for the minimum and 25, for example, for the maximum. And each step can be set on 1, which turns out like this. We can also control the distance using this number slider, put the minimum on 5 and the maximum on 8, let's say, and keep the steps as it is, and we can control it such as this. Alright, now I can use the line by start point end point, connect these 2 points by coordinates to it, which creates a line here as you can see in between the dots and the lines. Now I want to connect these dots here in a vertical line. So we can search for NURBS curve by points and open that up and add another one for good measure. Now this one connects to this point and this one connects to this one. This way we can create the lines. Now we want to create a table right beside this. So I can look for translate in the search bar and open this up that says geometry. Alright, so first we'll connect the geometry to this point. Alright, and now we want to create an offset with this amount in the direction of X, which turns out like this. And we can control them using the number slider here as well. Alright, and then I can create another copy of the line by start and end points. First, let me disconnect these, and then let's see, connect this to this point, and then with the geometry here because that connects to the other points. Then this is what we get. Now the line that we have here in the middle is signified by this point, so we can get a copy of the NURB curve and change the connection point to the geometry, which turns out like this. So now we want to create a draft here and then draw the tables inside of it. So we can gather these together using a list. Let's see, we have 5 of them. So we can create 5 items here in the list. After that, we can connect the list to all of the items. Alright, then let me put this on manual. And now we can see all of the items gathered here together in the list. Now we want to create the draft. So I can go over to the search bar and then search for detail curve. Let's see, it's not this one. We need detail by curve. Let me just add to the text dots by curve. Alright, there seems to be a mistake somewhere, so let me see. It should be this one, and alright, we can open it up. Now we can connect the curve to the list, and then we only have the view which we can search for as well. So in the search bar, I'll write drafting view and then select this one and open it up. Now this can connect to the view, and for the name of it itself, we can add a string here, connecting this to the name, and in the string, for example, we can write symbol. After that, I'll hit run. Now all of these steps together should have created a draft for us here. Now it's not the detail views one or this one. So let's have a look around and see where we can find it. It's right here under the drafting views. And then we can see the symbol here as well. So I'll open up the symbol which creates our chart here in the Revit. Alright, now let's say we want to increase its size. So we can scroll this on the number slider and then hit run, and there we go. Now let me just get a quick save of Dynamo, and then I can put it on automatic settings. Now this makes your job easier, but try not to use it every time because each second it takes some time to process the information, and that slows down the progress. So that's basically how you can create a draft here. And those who work MEP or architecture or structure can just create this for themselves, and they can just hit run to create their table with the data